Hey guys, it's DarudeLeafStorm here, and I'm here with week 8 of the IBL. This week we are taking on Cherry, and let me just get up Cherry's team real quick. I do this every week, don't I? Honestly, every single week. I can't remember whose team's whose. And the Philadelphia Melmetals. Wow, okay, Cherry. I'll see you with a Melmetal team. I'll see you. So, you can see the team we're bringing on the screen. We have got the following. Let me just pull up my sets, actually, so I can tell you guys exactly what we're bringing. So, I've got a Mental Herb lead Earthworm, which obviously I'm going to lead with. This won't be a lead otherwise. I've got a Rocky Helmet defensive Aloe. I've got a Citrus, Spadef, Hatterene. I've got Battlebond Greninja, which I'm just going to try and use late game. I think it's excellent into his team, to be honest. I've got Boots, Ogerpon, because I feel like I'm going to be switching that in a lot. And I've got Lecky as well. So Lecky is Volt Switch, Explosion, Extreme Speed, T-Bulb. Obviously, Cherry does have the Garchomp, so I'm just going to have to try and play around that a little bit. But I do have quite a lot of attack investment, so we'll see how we get on. So here, I'm clicking Rocks, turn 1. Rocks are so good into Cherry's team. You know, he's got the Moltres. And look at this boy. Look. Taunt. Nah-ah. Nah-ah. Shake that off. Shake it off. I know we got Ariana Grande nicknames, but we're getting Taylor up in here, okay? We're shaking it off. So we got our Rocks up, turn 1, which is exactly what I wanted. And exactly what I prepped for, really. I mean, Taunt Palafin, not exactly, but, you know, I mean, he had a couple of Taunt mons. It was just for Taunt in general. I could live near enough any hit on his team, apart from, obviously, like, Infernape. But I have Terraghost, so I actually could live an Infernape hit. So my plan was always just to leave this and get up my Rocks. And we've done exactly that. So Palafin is going to withdraw here. And next time, Palafin's going to be a bloody hero. And Pete Davidson bloody comes in. Infernape is in. So we're going to get that chipped. Obviously, with Cherry not having removal, like this is huge. This is massive for his team. Like if Enam isn't Boots, this is going to be very, very good chip. And I feel like Enam, Boots is good. It's fine. But like I feel like he needs something to break my team with, you know? So here I gain Aloe. He goes for U-turn on my Aloe. And takes some lovely Rocky Helmet chip, which is mwah, just beautiful. And let's see what Cherry wants to go in. I obviously click flip turn here. I am also doing this post-com, if you haven't noticed already. This is because I had to get all my battles kind of done before I went away, and this one was done quite late. So I am getting it done. Late as in, like, late my time. Like, in terms of the schedule, this was actually done very early. So in comes Enam, and it takes Rocks. And we get a flip turn off. This mon is at 50% already. 50%. 50% Enam. That is so big. So big. So here, I am going to go out into Lecky. I know I outspeed any Enam set, so I feel very confident in doing this. And I know he's going to switch out, so I'm perfectly happy with this. And I'm liking the way this is going so far for myself. You know, I've chipped Infernape quite a lot, and it's going to take Rocks on the way back in. Garchomp is still a very scary mon, as well as Goldengo. He's got both of these mons that are just terrifying for me. So we're just going to see how we get on. But, so here, you know, Garchomp is the obvious switch in, right? Like, it just is. It's incredibly obvious. I mean, he has no reason not to go into it on a Lecky. So I'm just kind of thinking what to do here. But then I'm like, if he stays in with Enam, it's kind of rough. So I do decide to just go back into Aloe. I know I can take a hit from this mon. I can kind of scout what it is if he does stay in. But I'm feeling Garchomp is just coming in right now. It just makes so much sense, as he's going to withdraw, which means next time this Enam comes in, it's going to be at 25%, which is crazy. Some may say ridiculous. And in comes Garchomp. So it's going to take 6% from the rocks, and it's going to get that right back with the leftovers. So we see that he's Lefty's Chomp. Makes sense. Bulky Chomp is pretty good into me. So, I mean, this all makes a lot of sense. I'm going to click Ice Beam if he wants to click Rocks, if he wants to click a Spike to try and get the hazard damage on me as well. I get really good chip on this mon, to the point where Greninja definitely KOs it. But in comes Goldengo, makes sense. It covers the Ice Beam, you know, it takes most hits, so makes a lot of sense that this mon comes in here. I am obviously a very slow mon, I'm like relaxed nature, I'm like 0 speed IVs, so I'm going to click the flip turn here, as I know I can take any hit from this mon, as he does go for T-Bolt, does about half. That is completely fine, I'm going to get my health back from regen anyway. So here, I've got momentum back on my side, and I'm just going to go straight into Ogerpon. It just makes a lot of sense for me to go out into this right now. And I just get a free knockoff into his team, really. Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna click the knockoff, and it nearly kills Goldengo, as he shows that he's a jetpack, goes for the make it rain, does a decent chunk to Ogerpon, but nothing that I'm too fussed about. Ogerpon's kind of done its thing here, so I'm more than happy with its performance. And hopefully, depending on the Palafin set, I can potentially, well, I mean, I can deliver a Jet Punch, sorry, depending on the Palafin set. So I am going to click Knock again. In comes Pete Davidson, the Infernape, which means I get a lovely knockoff on this mon, which is massive. And I'm going to knock off his Scarf, which is lovely. So here, I am just going to go right onto Aloe. It's just a very safe switch in for this mon. And yeah, if he clicks U-turn, he takes the chip again, and then like he's just getting closer and closer to death. So I feel very good about this play. And as he does go for the U-turn. So Infernape is very low now, which I'm a very, very happy boy about. And we can kind of see what Cherry wants to do here, what he kind of wants to go into. I'm thinking Palafin. I'm thinking, yeah, and in it comes. So I'm thinking I can beat most Palafin sets. You know, sub bulk up makes a lot of sense into me, but I feel like he needs to be a certain amount of moves to really do something into me. And I know my game plan into this anyway was to always flip turn out into Ogerpon. So as you saw, I have Bullet Seed on my Ogerpon, so I can always break the sub and get damage off on the Palafin. So here I'm calcing a few things, and I know Aleki could potentially live a Jet Punch. I actually think at this point it might have died, depending on what item he was and if he was adamant, all sorts of things. But I'm looking at my calcs and I'm like, oh, it's saying that Ogerpon lives this, and it was doing like quite little damage. I was like, okay, Ogerpon, I see you. I see what you're doing. It's like, right, well, Ogerpon it is then, so I'm going right out into that. In comes Ogerpon. And I'm kind of thinking, like, if he stays in and clicks Jet Punch, he's in a really bad spot. Like, Palafin is, like, the one thing that can potentially win this game. You know, I mean, Palafin is just such a scary mon, and the way that Cherry got this is insane. So here, I'm expecting the Jet Punch, and I'm just going to go back into Aloe. Potentially get some Rocky Helmet chip on this if he goes for Ice Punch or anything like that. I mean, I don't see why he would go for Ice Punch, but I'm thinking I can get a bit more chip on this mom with the Rocky Helmet, and we can go from there. We've not seen lefties on this mon either, so I'm thinking this is going to be an easy mon to chip down, and it's going to be a good time. So easily my play is to go out into Aloe here. So I'm going to withdraw out into Aloe, and I'm just going to keep on chipping this mon down, slowly but surely. And he goes Jet Punch, and I'm thinking, right, he's going to take Rocky Helmet Chip. This is going to be great. These pads makes a lot of sense into my team. So now I'm going to click Flip again. And here I'm panicking a little bit because this PALAFIN is not taking a lot of damage, as you can see. And it's going to get very scary very quick. As he goes for the taunt this turn, which is perfectly fine. Good set, though. Definitely has a chance of getting my aloe there. Stopping me from wishing up versus this Mom. But obviously I'm going to withdraw from my flip turn. And I'm going to go back into my Ogerpon. I'm thinking, right, I can click and attack now. Now that I know that he's pads, I can just kind of click a move here. So I'm going to click Cudgel. I now know that he's not subbed, so Cudgel's very free into his team. And he goes for Jet Punch, and it knocks me out. I was calking the wrong PALAFIN. I was calking standard form. It was doing like 30%, I think, something like that. Like, it was doing very little, like 20% maybe, 25%. And I was like, how on earth is it doing that little? And as you can see, I'm taking my time with my next move because I'm like, how on earth did that kill? Like, I know he's pads, I know he's not Mystic Water, and so I don't understand how that killed me. I was calcing the wrong PALAFIN. We know this now. So here, my only shot of really beating this PALAFIN is to go out into Aloe. I know I'm not really taking a lot from the Jet Punch, and I won't be until he gets quite a lot of boosts. I know he's bulk up taunt on this as well. So I'm thinking, like, if he's Drain Punch, like, that actually could be quite scary at this point in the game. But, you know, I can... Pardon me. I can kind of just click Scald. Until then... God, I need to take a drink, I'm so sorry. As he's going to click Bulk Up again. And now this Mon is getting scary. But I am going to go for the Scald and hope for the burn on this Mon. Don't get it. I have to click it again. I have no other choice. I have to just spam into this Mon now. I have to hopefully get the burn. And if I get the burn, I can kind of go from there. But this Mon is getting very scary very quickly. And I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, this Mon, very, very scary. And I had a game plan into it. You know, I had Ogerpon in the back. And I knew that the combination plus flip plus bullet seed Ogerpon always beat this PALAFIN unless I let my Ogerpon get chipped, and then this would happen. So, you know, it's my own fault. I did it to myself, but we can play the long game versus this Mon. I think with him not having lefties recovery, I think it definitely helps me out. Drain Punch is definitely scary though, and you never know, he might just like not want to stay in with this Mon. He might not want to get it burned, and he doesn't. He actually withdraws, and he goes out into my everything, which is Moltres. So this Mon is scary. We see that it's boots. We're gonna get a Scald off, potentially get a burn, which we do, which is lovely. A bit of chip on that Mon goes a long way for sure. And here I'm not really too sure what kind of set this Moltres is going to be. I'm thinking maybe Double Dance could be quite scary for my team, but I do have a Spadef hat for a reason, so I am just going to go right out into that. I'm not really going to think too much about it. I have the defensive capabilities for Cherry's team, I feel like, so far anyway. I feel like I've really been able to kind of grab momentum on my side and kind of, especially with the rocks going up, you know, like I would not be in this position if I didn't have hazards up at all. Because now I'm just using my defensive walls to kind of slowly chip his team down. So in comes my hat. Look how pretty she is. Aww, she's so cute. Anyway, Fiery Wrath comes off. Look at that animation, man. That is what an insane Mon. So it's going to do a decent chunk to me. Obviously, I'm not going to get any health back because I'm not lefties. I'm citrus, which, you know, I mean, lefties would be nice in this situation. Being able to get that recovery back over time. But I'm just going to go for Mystical Fire here. I'm thinking if he stays in, clicks Nasty Plot, I want as much damage on this one as possible. But he is just going to sack Infernate, which makes a lot of sense. And Harreen is going to pick up a kill. Okay, girl. Okay. Harreen has been my sort of backbone of most teams, to be honest. Like, she's been here, there, and everywhere, you know? She's kind of been doing the damn thing. So I'm glad to see her pick up a kill. I'm glad to see her do a little bit of work, you know? She's been the support piece a lot of the time, so... And I mean, the set is definitely a support piece, but you know. Anyway, in comes the Goldengo. And I'm thinking, right, you've come in for one reason and one reason only. You're going to recover on me. And there's not a lot I can do to stop it. I mean, Mystical Fire is doing a decent chunk, but if he clicks Make It Rain, then I don't really want to do that, and I don't feel like it's a risk I need to take at this point in the game. So I am going to go out into Oli Grande. The Earthworm, look at this boy. As Cherry does go for the Recover. And now, all of a sudden, this Goldengo is a threat again, and I've got to deal with this shit again. But it's fine. I'm an offensive Earthworm, actually. So I can just click Earthquake and do a decent chunk to this mom. So I'm actually not too fussed about this situation that I'm in. And so far, we're looking pretty good. I was debating on getting a Spike up here. I think a Spike into his team would definitely help me out a lot. But I think just getting that Earthquake chip on whatever comes in, if he stays in with this mon, like I feel like that I value more as it's getting closer and closer to a sort of later game here now. As in comes PALAFIN, which I definitely appreciate the chip on, right? So I'm going to get the Earthquake off on this mon. It's going to do an okay amount, right? Like, it's fine. So here, I do not want him clicking Drain Punch on my Earthworm at all. I don't want him getting any HP back. I want to keep this PALAFIN at this health. I want to make sure that I can just chip this off at some point in this game. So I am going to Terra Ghost. Ollie's more than done the work for this game. Like, this has been crazy. Got the rocks up, used the Mental Herb, and now he's getting chip off on this PALAFIN. All is well as he goes for the bulk up here. Cherry goes for the bulk up, and I'm just going to click Earthquake and get some more chip on this mom. So we're going to click that Earthquake, and it's looking like it potentially 2-hit KOs it from here, and I like that. I'm liking a bit of that. So I'm thinking about my endgame here, right? So I'm thinking about how on earth I'm going to do this. So I'm looking at my options, and I don't know. You know, Ollie's kind of done his thing, but you know, I've got Shuriken Gren in the back, which is looking very good right now. So, and you know, like everything is very close in range of Gren, so I'm thinking it's kind of getting Gren's time to shine, you know. He's got the Goldengo, which is at half. I know it's not Culber anymore, that mom. He's got the Garchomp, which I know isn't Yachi. So there's a lot of options I've got here. The option I do decide to go with is I decide to go out into Aloe as he withdraws PALAFIN. Excuse me, and goes out into Moltres. Now, this is the only mon that I don't really know a lot about. I know that it's got boots, but I don't know what kind of spread it is. I don't know if it's double dance. All I've seen from this mon is Fiery Wrath. So I'm going to go out into Aloe here, and this mon gives me the momentum that I need right now. So here I am going to click Flip Turn. I can live any one hit from this mon. If he clicks Hurricane, I get the confusion. Fair enough. Fiery Wrath's not going to do an awful lot to me, and I am going to get the flip off. This mon's looking kind of low. It's looking, you know, a little bit above 50%, about 55%-ish. So I'm doing some calcs, and, you know, I have got Battle Bomb Gren there, kind of waiting to go. But I just need a little bit more chip going on, right? So I'm going to bring Dance to this and my Lecky. He's still got that bloody Garchomp in the back. So that mon I'm keeping my eye on. I kind of need to get that a little bit more weakened. If he's a bulkier chomp like Spadef, excuse me, I need a little bit more chip on that mon for Gren. So here I am going to go out back into Aloe. I felt like this was a pretty safe play on my end. You know, again, Garchomp is a very, very easy switch in for him to make, which he does. In it is. And I really want this Ice Beam on this Garchomp. It's going to make the biggest difference. You know, with my rocks up, he's getting the leftovers back. So I'm not getting anywhere with this Chomp. So I could really do with the chip. If I can get an Ice Beam off on this Mon, Gran is looking insane. Like, literally, it can possibly just win at this point. So, I am going to click Flip. To be honest, I didn't think he was going to stay in, but he does. So, I'm going to get the Flip off, which I'm sad about, because if I would have clicked Ice Beam, that would have been so good. So good. But, you know, that's fine. I'm going to withdraw Miss Ari Run Pop. And here, I'm going to go out into Gren. And I'm going to click Ice Beam. You know, he doesn't know my Gren set yet either, so he doesn't know exactly what I am. The worst case scenario probably is if he clicks Dragon Tail. I feel like that's like potentially the worst, but 2 Ice Beams, depending on how bulky the Garchomp is, definitely kills from this point in the game. So, you know, everything's really chipped down. Everything's, yeah. So I'm going to click Ice Beam. And he's going to go into my everything, which is the Moltres. This is the other Mon that I needed a little bit more weakened, and we're going to get an Ice Beam off on it. At +1, I think it was like a weird roll to kill. It looks from that range, though, that it would kill at +1, especially after the burn. But I do get the Ice Beam off. I know it's Boots, so I can just click Ice Beam again into this. He now knows that I'm not Protean, and Cherry's going to switch into the Goldengo now. But, I mean, I can just click buttons. You know, I'm not choiced on this Mon, which he potentially thought I was. Maybe like Scarfed or something like that. But I'm not. And I'm just checking my stats, checking my natures and stuff. Because that Ice Beam did not a lot. But, you know, it's a bulky Goldengo. I'm Battle Bond Gren. I'm not Protean, so I don't get the stab from it. So, it makes sense that I didn't do a lot. Like I say, I'm not choiced into this. I can, in fact, just click Dark Pulse. I'm doing a few calcs, hence why it's taking me a minute to click Dark Pulse. But I'm looking at my options and I'm thinking, I know my game plan, right? I know how to win this game. But I just don't know if this is the time to click the button and just go for it. Oh, I was about to say, do I go to Aloe? I didn't think I did. I don't. Surely I clicked that pulse. So, yeah, so I time out. However, I knew that Dark Pulse was my first slot, so, you know, I mean, it looked out for me. I mean, but I knew that Dark Pulse was in my first slot. Hence why I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like panicking in terms of, oh no, like what am I going to do? I knew Dark Pulse wasn't in my first slot. So I get my Battle Bond up and this looks like the beginning of the end, to be honest. I've scouted out his team enough. I know every item on every Mon now, I think. So I've got lefties on Garchomp, he's got Boots on Moltres, he's got something on this Enam, but if it's Scarfed, I still outspeed it. So yeah, it's looking like we're gonna pick up a win here, and I think in this game it was just a case of positioning, you know. Like, I think getting those rocks up that early in the game, turn 1, it made such a massive difference. You know, I was able to use my defensive walls and kind of pivot into my switch-ins, and slowly chip down Cherry's team to where Gren was in this position. And I've got to thank my slow pivots for that. You know, slow pivots into Gren has been insane for me these past few weeks. You know, it's a sort of similar situation with JV, where I just got Gren in the right position and it just was able to go nuts. And it's just done the exact same thing here. This Mon is wild. It's absolutely crazy when positioned correctly. And yeah, so GG to Cherry. Another thing is that I wanted to say thank you to Cherry, because Cherry was able to play this game way earlier than we were meant to, because I went away. I went on holiday, so yeah, big thank you to Cherry. He's an absolute legend. Lovely, lovely person to speak to as well, honestly. An absolute darling angel. So, we are going to pick up a big 5-0 win here. I know we've got, like, the battle hasn't exactly ended yet, but you can kind of see how it's going. And we're going to pick up a big 5-0 win against Cherry, and this is massive into the playoff contention race. We're looking very good. Currently, we're number 2 seed behind Dashing. We've only got 1 loss behind our name. Dashing has actually stayed undefeated, and we do play him last. So we'll see how that goes, and potentially a little playoff match as well. But at this point, we are guaranteed playoffs? Yeah, we're guaranteed playoffs. So we will, in fact, potentially see Cherry in the playoffs. So, yeah, big win. Big win to end off the season. I mean, we've got 1 more week left versus Dashing. And I still need to play my game versus Danny Mac. Hence why the week 7 is probably going to go up after the week 8. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And stay tuned for the last couple of weeks of IBL heading into the playoffs. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been DarudeLeafStorm. I'll see you all later. Bye guys.